Hey friends, welcome to the second season of So, What Makes You Come Alive podcast, inspiring conversations with everyday humans like you about what lights them up. We're your hosts, Gabe the Girl
and Michaela McGee. And this season, we're continuing to explore what it would look like to take ownership of and change the narratives of our lives to live a life fully alive.
Hey everybody, welcome back to So, What Makes You Come Alive podcast. I'm Gabe the Girl.
And I'm Michaela.
And we're very excited to be bringing on a new guest today that Michaela knows. So I'm going to let her give a little intro to our guest today.
Yes. This is another one of my great internet friends. I truly am super excited to have Jess on the podcast this week because she has become one of my closest friends over the last couple of years. And I think it's just really fascinating. One, being able to make friends over the internet that become true friends. And two, to be able to make such deep friendships at any point in life. You know, it doesn't have to be early stages or during college or whatever, but we get to be open to receiving new friendships and learning from one another and constantly being inspired by other people whenever we want. So I'm actually going to hand over the mic to Jess to give a little intro about who she is, and then we'll get started with the questions.
Awesome. Yay. Thank you, Michaela. So we were actually just talking about how we met, which is hilarious because we don't know. And so somehow one or both of us added each other. Who freaking knows? And met for a Zoom call and decided that I was going to drive 6 hours in a snowstorm up to Vermont.
Yes, casual.
Yeah, totally fine. To meet a complete stranger to live with for 3 days, totally fine. But what sold me really was the dog, not so much Michaela.
Had nothing to do with the humans. It was all about the canine.
Just an added bonus.
The canines.
At the time, you only had the one, my OG over there. And so the rest is history. And so Michaela and I don't go too far back, but she has been on the journey with me as I guess the best thing to call me is a spiritual entrepreneur. I work as an energy work practitioner. I work with clients one-on-one. I host women's circles. I do past life sessions. I do readings. I work in metaphysical shops. Like, I am the jack of all. And I have a pretty cool toolbox of things that I like to use. And it's life is fun. I can't explain it. I feel like I'm learning so much as I go. And I briefly mentioned to Michaela before we started, January didn't count. It was a trial run. February is the year for me. I am purging like nobody's freaking business. And I feel like this is definitely my year. This is a good year so far, even though there's a lot of things that happened. I feel like it's all necessary, and it's just other things, other tools to add to the toolbox and keep it moving through this thing called life. So
yeah, that's beautiful. And I just feel like what a great invitation for all of us to see life that way, right? It doesn't have to start or end with these I don't know, preconceived notions of like, this is, you know, you go to college and then you get a job and then you retire and then you start living or whatever. But like, we're all constantly growing and evolving and learning, and we get to keep learning. And that's amazing.
Keep adding tools to your toolbox.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to go get what are those tool belts right after this and put all my tools right in it.
Hammer.
Yeah. Yes. I love that imagery. Okay. Well, you shared some of this because I could hear the joy in your voice as you were talking about what it is that you do. But overall in life, what really lights you up? What makes you feel fully alive?
I don't even know how to sum that up in one sentence. I just the fact that for whatever reason, we decided to show up in this meat suit to experience something on this earth school, right? It's like there is so much wisdom within all of us that we already have. And we came here to learn more. And it's just every day is just an invitation to learn more. And I just am really excited. Like, what lights me up is like, what do I get to experience today? Who do I get to meet? Who do I get to have a conversation with? What do I get to witness outside my window? I've never been like that, though. Like, I wasn't always like that, I should say. And so this is really more recent, especially as we take this journey through life, is what has become apparently clear is that almost nothing matters. And we're just going to get right into it. We're going to get right.
Dive deep.
What matters actually, right? My home, my dog, well, she wasn't here, she's not anymore. My husband playing video games in the other room, right? Those things really matter. If something happens to those things, that's a big deal. The shit that happens outside of these four walls, how important is it truly? And so I think what lights me up, like I said, is just being able to experience something new every day and just learn from it, understand something better, right? So everything along that line.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But a very very powerful thing in your life when you start to realize that the temporal things that, you know, you once cared for so much actually don't have that much value or that much power over your life or dictating, you know, how you live. And you start to realize, okay, what are the things that I am investing my time in, and that really do make up the majority of like my experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and I just also love the openness to receiving every day. Like, what am I here to experience? What's going to inspire me?
Yeah.
Who is going to inspire me today?
Yeah.
And I think one thing that you did not mention in your intro is your high value of community.
Yeah.
Like you are an active participant in community wherever you are, but you cultivate that so beautifully. And I think that that really does weave into what clearly makes you come alive. Like, who do I get to surround myself with today? And
I feel like that's just so a part of me that I almost like when everyone's like, so what do you do? It's just easier, not easier, but it's like top of mind. I feel like, for example, Woogle is just, it's my passion project.
Yeah.
So, you know, Woogle is an online spiritual community that will eventually bridge. It does bridge outside of the interwebs, right?
Yeah.
But it's mostly based online. And because I am someone who, it's kind of cool that I'm top of mind to people for certain things, right? I think that that's important, especially in business. But people go, hey, do you have a person for XYZ? And I'm like, yep, I got 3. Here you go. And all of that is so exciting to me. Like when Michaela, you met Katie in real life.
Yeah.
Because of a mastermind that I put together with a colleague of mine that y'all just randomly were like in this mastermind together. Then you went to fucking IKEA together. I like, my heart exploded because I was like, this is so cool. I had a hand in playing in this. And it's not even, but it's like the fact that people think that what I have to offer is like, I don't know how I want to say it, but like, it's important enough that they want to come to me. They trust me with those like options, right? And so that's the extension of what Google is going, here's all the freaking amazing people out in the world. You want to find somebody, type in energy work practitioner. Here you got 9 in Texas, you got whatever in this community or something, right? So that's what I hope that this will build. And so I kind of just forget that that's who I am, because it's just been me for so long. I don't know why I don't think to even say it. I don't know. I don't know if that's good or bad. I just feel like, yeah, I do that. Sure. But
yeah, I mean,
it's so natural to you.
Yeah, totally.
It
is like a core part of who you are. And yeah, that does make sense that it's like, well, duh, I'm Jess, who is obviously somebody that highly values community and is amazing at connecting people. Like that just goes without saying. But yeah.
I try to be humble, but you know, I know. I know, like,
yeah,
it's good to know that I am known for that. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? That's a good feeling. So that is really what, like, my purpose that I've realized I came here for is those 2 C words, community and connection. And how that looks is very different depending on the day. Like I'd mentioned to you, I'm involved in other communities, other metaphysical shops. I do a lot of social media stuff. So like at first, when I like started my journey of like, I just want everything. I want mine. I want my business. It's just gonna be mine. I'm not working for anybody anymore. Right, all that. And then all these opportunities started to present themselves, and I'm like, oh, this is an extension of you, Jess. Like higher self, Jess went, what do you think you're doing? It's the same thing. It's the same thing in a different way. And so it's been really beautiful to just let things happen and let life show me like what it is that I'm meant to do here. And I know I have big purpose and big dreams, and I feel like I definitely downplay them. And but I'm so new to the concept of truly fully receiving.
Mm.
And Michaela, you've seen that journey for the last couple of years. And so for me
Mm-hmm.
to tell you like literally every day is a gift, and I
Yeah.
just want to see whatever life has to give to me is a huge thing for me to say. And so it just feels very good, because I was at the other end of that spectrum not that long ago, years
Mhm.
ago, where like
Right.
didn't care about my life. I didn't care if I
Mm.
woke up. I didn't care, right? And so it's
Mm-hmm.
like a total shift where I can appreciate and respect somebody's decision to want to bounce. Totally get it
Mm.
now. I never thought I'd understand that perspective, but I do now. And so that is the piece that I want to speak to in people. Like, hey, I promise you, there's still a reason to be alive. Do you know what had to freaking happen for you to be here? Do you understand how many things had to conspire? How many ancestors had to be born? How many things had to go right with your mother and your father? All of these things, right? It's just like, oh my God, it's amazing. It is. And
Mm.
maybe it sounds nuts, but I think I have a place to stand on this, because I have been
Yeah.
on both ends of the spectrum. So
Mm-hmm.
it's it can be hard, but it's coming out on the other side of it is totally worth it. So
Mm.
Yeah. And I think that you can meet people where they are because you've
absolutely.
been there.
Absolutely. I'm not afraid
That's
of the dark. That's why I love the work I do, the energy work I do, the shadow work, which is more or less understanding the darkness within you,
Mm.
befriending it, understanding it, and integrating it. It's not a bad thing. There's no bad parts. I think that's from a book. I don't know if that's something, I have no idea, but it's true. There are no bad parts.
Mm.
And so even the things that maybe society deems bad or wrong is not. And so how do we face ourselves in the mirror with compassion and saying like, yeah, I see where you're at. I see it, things are hard right now, but like let's look at it, like let's look at the layers, and like let's go in the basement. I'm not, I am, if you couldn't tell, I am not love and light rainbows shooting out my ass. I am not. And so I'm like, come on, take my hand, let's go in the basement, let's go, come on. Yep, I know the sunshine and the windows are up here, but we're gonna go downstairs. And obviously I don't force anybody.
Mhm.
Usually people that find me are like kind of ready to just be like, all right, let's just rip the rug out, let's go.
Mhm.
So yeah, I've never been one to just, toxic positivity is I could write a book on that, and I think that
Sure.
you have to be really careful with what you say and how you say it to people. Um,
Mm.
not putting a band-aid on things. Like if you want to scream, just go freaking scream. Get it out of your body, because
Mhm.
so many of us are dysregulated. Our nervous systems are shot. I've been recovering from burnout for years.
Totally.
I think I've did that more than I actually started a business or multiple businesses at this point. I've done more healing than anything else. So
Mm. It's good.
I go on tangents. I'm going to shut up now. Sorry.
It's great. No, you're sharing some really great stuff, and it's great to hear your story, like your
Mhm.
personal journey. And that's why we're here, is to learn more and to share that with others. And so like I can't tell that you're at all inspired about anything that you like or that you do, or you spend your time
Mm-mm.
on.
Mm-mm.
But so I wondered if we could go there. Like,
Sure.
can I go there with you?
Of course. Go
Can we
there.
rip out the rug of inspiration and
That's-
encouragement, and
yes.
just really delve into the question of like, what does inspire you or encourage you to live a life fully alive, where you're open and just ready to receive each day, and delve into the community that you do, and invest your time where you found it's worthy of investment?
That's a very good question. And as you were asking it, so many things popped up in my head. And I guess I still feel like that's an answer that is still being answered. So
Mm.
there's like so much more that I don't know yet. There's so much more that hasn't happened to me yet. And what's gotten me to this point is really like the people I've been able to meet and inspire into, like, my clients are a big one. And I have a lot less client base now because that's not really where my direction is going. But I think being around like-minded people and in community with people, and it's the clients that were like, hey, we need something, you know, things, I mean, you know, people, like, what is there something out there? And so what really inspired me to get to this point is the call to action from the people around me to, like, build something that they feel safe in, and not just Google, but like me. And it doesn't make me, because I it's not that, but I do feel obligated to do the work before. And you can see clients while you're still working and healing yourself, but, like, I really don't say anything to anybody unless I'm gonna freaking do it.
Mm.
And so I think seeing other people as a mirror and learning from them, and, like, trying to put out in the world what they need, because I just love people. I mean, I joke that I hate people. I don't really actually hate people. I hate people who are shitty. And there's a lot of that out there. You have to be careful, because to navigate that, especially on the internet, you don't know. And so,
Mm.
um, like I said, I think, again, it's just our bodies do so much. I'm an EMT, and I watched people die and come back to life right in front of me. I've watched, I mean, horrible, beautiful, everything in between. The body is an amazing vessel. It's an amazing thing. And I think another thing that inspires me is just what our bodies do for us
Mm.
every day without us even asking. And so when it's knocking and something hurts, like, our first initial reaction is to go, why does my body hate me? That's a lot of people. I'm not saying everybody. Oh, why is this happening? Why is this random pain? Why? And it's like, you, boo boo, you're the reason. Okay, I'm gonna say most of our issues in our physical body come from emotional things. And I'm not saying the trauma that happened to you is your fault. Let's play that very delicately. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that if you don't deal with it in a way that's healthy, um, your body is going to take the hit. Your body keeps the score. And so I am also inspired to help people learn and understand their bodies in a way that doesn't feel like their body's turning on them. So give them
Mm.
language, to give them tools, again, that toolbox, to give them things to go, oh, perspective. As you can tell, I'm pretty, nobody comes to me for the beat around the bush. I'm gonna tell you what I feel. And so
Mhm.
I think, I don't know if that answers your question. I feel like, again, there's so many things that inspire me. So just,
Yeah.
yeah.
I I mean, I feel like it's amazing how heart-centered you really are. And I know, I know maybe the audience can actually hear this too, that like you definitely do say it like it is. And it is maybe it comes across as like a tough love thing, but like your heart is so evident that you are doing this, yes, for your own healing, but really for like mass healing, for the sake of all of humanity, you know, like, and it's
Collective.
so important. Yes. But it's
So
so important for us to heal ourselves so that we can be there for other people. And I love the intentionality behind what it is that you're doing. Like why you do what really makes you come alive is ultimately for everybody, for all of us collectively.
yeah,
And there's just so much love in that. It's
yeah.
beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah, because I
Thank you.
mean, we're not going to be around forever, right? But there are going to be people after us that are here longer than we are. And so if you're doing it for others, like that legacy,
Yes.
that
Mhm.
beauty, that gift lives on, right?
Your legacy is
Hugely.
important. Absolutely. And it's not even just for, like, my future children. You know what I mean? It's like,
Mhm.
what do you leave? You're gonna leave something behind. You're not just gonna be
Right.
piece of slab of cement in the ground somewhere. Like, that every single, like, I really do. I feel like I drive by a cemetery, and I just, like, even just going to visit, like, my grandparents, I'm like, I wonder what this person did. I wonder what their life was, right? They're
Yeah.
so,
Mm.
now it's just literally, it's just ash in the ground, right? And so, like,
Yeah.
where are they now? What are they doing now? What life did they show up and choose another life? Because I do believe that we do that, right? I think that until we ascend and really become that ascended being and that master to then pass on wisdom, like you always end up doing something, even in the afterlife. I do, you know what I mean? I think we choose certain jobs to do to help people on the other side. You know, I just don't. I think that we are just a giving species. Is take that as you will, but you know what I mean. Like we were just meant to just help each other. You know, the bullshit. I don't need anybody.
Yeah.
Narrative. The cut them off after one. Like go to therapy. Oh my god, that's not reality. It's not reality. You need to like work out. You just can't cut people off because of what we're human. We mess up. Okay. We're allowed. That's what like that's part of it. And so, you know, I just the whole cancel culture, the whole this, F that, like get out of my face with all that because there's something to learn here about yourself. Always. Always, because we're not perfect. And if you expect perfection out of people, I don't know what you're doing here. I have no idea. So
that's true.
That's my hot take.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Gabe?
I was gonna say, you know, it's something huge to touch on to say that it's like, I mean, what you do here matters with whatever time you have. I mean, I could have until tomorrow and then, you know, like what you do matters.
Yeah. Was it enough? If you knew this was your last day, what would you do? You would do everything freaking differently.
Yeah. You can't say it wouldn't, you know, change, you know, what you did or how you felt about, you know, your story. It would definitely have a great impact if we all knew how much time we had.
Right.
And so the beauty of it is, you know, it's a mystery, right?
Yeah.
Doctors can predict all they want. Doesn't mean that, you know, the story's going to go how they say it's going to go.
Right. They're wrong every day.
Yeah.
You know, and so I mean, I won't knock traditional medicine too much because it saved my life multiple times. So I'm not going to sit here and say that it's bullshit because it's not. But I think it doesn't see the person as a whole. We don't just have a physical body, right? We're emotional beings, we're spiritual beings, we're mental beings. And so that's why when you go to a therapist for 10 years and you don't fucking feel any better, it's because you only addressed your mental body. You haven't moved it out of your other bodies. And so, you know, the medical field will, it's going to touch, it's going to help on the physical, but like, are we actually treating the issue? Or are we masking it? You know, people with anxiety, depression, throw pills at it, throw this, throw that, right? It's like, how about you just get outside for fucking 5 minutes and like put your face in the sun? Try that. I know I'm oversimplifying it. I know there are people that actually need medication.
But it could help.
But that's the thing. Everyone's like, well, can I take a pill for it? That's my father. My father's 70 years old. I'm like, you probably need potassium. Eat a banana. He's like, is there a pill for that? I said, Dad, not everything is a pill. You have to like try for yourself too, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. There are a lot of difficulties and difficult people. I don't know if you can hear Maggie as she's groaning with comfort. She's a really happy dog, but she might also just be like,
That's good conversation. That's
amen.
Yeah. That's my auntie.
I've got headphones in.
Yes.
She can't hear anything, but she's tuned into this. So anytime that you hear a groan, it's not my stomach. That is the dog that is on my lap, but it's fine. Anyway, circling back, Jess, what challenges have you faced as you've been pursuing this life that really lights you up?
Plenty.
Tell me.
Plenty. And
let's sit here. We got an hour. Just kidding.
Listen, you're going to need a lot longer. And so, well, like I'd mentioned, I got off the road as an EMT about 4-ish years ago because I got injured from pushing my body way too hard, working way too many hours, and trying to get out of credit card debt, as most of us have that story. I did it, but at the cost of my body. And I was out of work for like a year because there was legal things involved. And I was called to be a dispatcher in a town over from mine. I took the job, freaking hated it. I was terrible at it. Wrong side of the radio. God bless. I have so much respect for dispatchers. But the whole time my body was just, I could feel it just shutting down. Just wasn't working properly. And in the process of going, okay, I don't want to stay at this job, but I don't know what the heck is next. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I know I want to help people, but so does all the other 9 billion people in the world, right? What does that actually mean for Jess? And I went to a chiropractor, completely hysterical with almost no money. And I was like, please help me. I have been in so much pain. I don't know what to do. And he diagnosed me with fibromyalgia. And I thought my life was just over because I was like, that's it. And I like became this diagnosis, and it was my fibromyalgia. It was my diagnosis. It was, and I owned this because it's been in my body since I was 16, 15, when I first went on birth control because I had a cyst. And I wouldn't say a sick kid, but I was in and out of the hospital a lot. I had a really rare skin condition at the time. There was like less than 100 people in the world that had it when I was like 15, 16. My legs are in medical books. Like I still have trauma from that. I felt like a specimen. And so I had a lot of physical setbacks. I definitely have a dysregulated nervous system still. My cortisol levels through the roof, but we know how this goes. You go and you get a test. Oh, it's nothing's really showing up. It's not that bad. Yeah, that's great. I don't sleep. I don't eat until about now, which it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, our time. So there's something wrong. And I've had a huge issue with trying to get the help that I need. And what that takes is advocating for yourself. And when you are not somebody who does that in your own personal life, it's kind of hard to do that when you need the help, but it's like, it's just you and you now. So are you going to fight for you? Are you going to stand up for yourself? Are you going to say, hey, it's not right? And so the biggest challenge was that, and realizing that I needed to get help. I had to go back into therapy. I've been in and out of therapy for over 10 years. I did EMDR, which really triggered me to very suicidal, like I had mentioned earlier. And I had a whole plan, and I thank God I didn't go through with it. And my body just made me just depressed and unhappy and unmotivated for a long time. I think that's the biggest challenge I've had. And it took a really long time to get to where I am today. And I don't appreciate it. I'm telling you right now, I definitely don't look at it as a huge win. And that is something I'm working on with perceiving. So I would say, yeah, my body was my biggest challenge, and it still can be, but through doing a lot of work, all the shit I tell other people to do, I went and did. And I would say that, I was having flare-ups every few days where I was in horrible pain and just like moving through life, just in pain all of the time. If my doctor did some kind of pain analysis test or something like that, he's like, you actually look like you should be bedridden based on this test. Like, I don't even know how you're up walking around all the time. I'm like, because you just got to shove it down. You just got to do what you got to do and be a human and work fucking 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week and have no purpose, like all the shit in life that a lot of people live. And so, yeah, it took a lot of work, and I'm still working on it. And I would say, though, my physical body is 80, 85% better from the last few years of just taking the time and doing the hard things, quitting the best job I probably would have ever had in my whole life. Benefits, pay was very good. Like, I left all of that and went, okay, which is really triggering to your nervous system if it's already fucked up. So it was like, okay, you can do it, but your physical body's like, no, bitch, we can't take anymore. What are you doing? So it was a mind game for sure. It was a lot of work, and thank God for other practitioners and other people who give a crap about people, because I did so much bartering of my services for theirs to like get the help that I needed. Saved my life. Hands down saved my fucking life. So yeah
That's a lot. Thank you for sharing that so openly. And honestly, I feel like that hopefully not that extreme, but like probably a lot of people can resonate with that situation, that they're just like, yeah, babe.
I'm raising my hand for those who are not watching
Yes.
our video and just listening. But yeah,
Mhm.
not to the extent, Jessica, that the journey that you've been through. But yeah, I mean, I have an autoimmune disease, and the last year and a half has been really, really hard on my body. Just flare ups and all sorts of things going on. I can tell you right now, as you're like describing your story, I'm like, oh yeah, that's probably, as she's talking, that's probably one of my challenges in this season as well. And I'm encouraged to hear, your story and overcoming, and even just, getting to the point where you're like 85% better. I'm like, my whole body hurts right now and has been hurting for several weeks. It's like it's amazing what challenges to your body can actually do in impacting like your life and the satisfaction that you have in life and in relationships. And it impacts so many things. So like you said, like there's not always a pill for it. You got to go put yourself out in the sunshine. You
Yeah, you got to do some of the hard things, the things that we
Yeah.
don't make time for that make it worse. And I want to say too, to this point, that I had called for a service. I don't know if you ever heard of cryotherapy. It's basically like they put you in this chamber of ice for 5 minutes.
Freezing.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
move,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you're just like shivering the whole time. And so I called, I told her, I'm like, I have this autoimmune disease. I have this, I'm trying to navigate, whatever. And she's like, well, la di da di da di da. You're gonna have this forever, so you might as well learn how to manage it. And I hung up on her. I don't hang
Yikes.
up on anybody. Okay, I'm not. Well, maybe my husband sometimes when he makes me mad. I don't hang up on anybody. I don't. And I was so mad. I was like, all the swear words I'm not gonna say right now. You're not gonna tell me that you don't
Mhm.
have no. And I went through my whole house. I threw out then that in the same hour, went through like so much food out of my house. I made all these plans. I made all these changes. I remember talking about it in Google, and I remember saying something to the effect of like, somebody told me I was going to live with this forever, and I'm wait for the day that I come live again and I tell you that this is gone, that I've eradicated it from my effing body. Just wait. And like I said, and this was 2 years ago now, and what I had to go through to get to this point was literally laying on the ground in ceremony, screaming for hours because my whole body locked up and I couldn't move. And I had to excavate it. And I had people there that just knew what to do and to help me through it. And I screamed from my stomach. I have
Yeah.
never, and I don't even remember the process of it. And I remember when I came to, my throat didn't even hurt. My throat didn't even hurt the next day. Like true excavation and learning that just because the patterns in my brain tell me this hurts, it may not hurt. And I want to pass this along to you really quickly. So was so used to, my husband would like put his hand like on my hip, and normally my hips are an area that I carry a lot of pain, and I would immediately guard and I would turn away from him. And one day I went to just knee jerk turn, and my body went, that didn't hurt. And I went, you're right, it didn't hurt. So it was like I had to catch myself for a minute. And I was like, oh, my body is just now on it just thinks that this is what's happening. And so I had to tell myself, hey, you're not actually hurting right now. Lean back into him. And like I had to start slow. So it's like your brain might be telling you that, and I'm not diminishing your pain, because fibromyalgia is the catch-all for you're in pain, but we can't see it and we can't identify it anywhere, right? But some of it really is in your brain. So just like having those thoughts with yourself and going, hey, this isn't actually happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is some intense stuff. And those challenges are real. And I think it gets to be a real encouragement to the people that you work with, Jess, and to our listeners too, that like we all have stuff. We can let it be as big as we want to let it be, or as other people might tell us that it is. But we, at the end of the day, are in full control of our own narrative. And taking that control has allowed for you to be able to show up that much better for people. And look at the ripple effect of like what happens when we truly work on our own healing, whatever that looks like, and stepping into our lives. Boom.
Yeah.
This has been amazing.
Yeah.
So for anybody who is in that spot or is in a place of looking to step into a life more fully alive, what encouragement or like wisdom nugget would you give them? You've already started, dishing out the encouragement, but is there anything specific that you would like to share for our audience?
Becoming aware, I think for sure is a big one. Becoming aware of your thoughts and where they're coming from, because I realized I had a narrative that lived in me that was fully my mother's. And I'm like, I don't actually think that. Wait a minute. Right. And so again, it's a lot of this hard work that a magic pill does not. It's like you have to be consciously responsible for your life. Nobody is going to do it for you unless you come to me and you start talking to me and I go, what's that word? Why are we using that word? And I literally have the dictionary on my computer and I go, this is what that means. Is that what you meant? No. Okay, switch the language. So I would encourage people to seek out others to help them, because if you live in your head and you think everything's going on here and you don't have the perspective that maybe somebody can offer you, it's really helpful to have somebody like gently call you out on your shit, but then also go, I'm going to call you out, but I also know how to fix it. So like, let's do this together. Right. So becoming really aware of your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings. I think like if you're going into a new place and all of a sudden you get nervous, like stop a second, go, why do I feel this way? What is happening? Right. And so, hey, maybe I'm not meant to go in here. Like trusting those gut feelings that maybe people don't do anymore, I think is really important. It's your body's way of trying to say, hey, fire alarm going off here. I need you to pay attention. Right. And there were so many times that I feel like I ignored what was happening in my body and just continued forward anyway because of money, because of an attachment, because of a whatever, right? And then the downfall in the end of that is just so much, it could be so much worse. And so I would just say, become friends with your body. Go look at yourself in the mirror. You know how many people don't actually own mirrors? You know how I never knew it until I started seeing clients. They're like, the mirror I have in my house is just enough for me to like do my makeup, but I said, when was the last time you looked at your physical body in the mirror? They're like, oh God, years.
Wow.
That's heartbreaking that you feel like you can't even look at yourself in the mirror. What do you think is going to happen when your body starts shutting down? Down, I'm using air quotes right now, right? Or something is happening, all these random things start happening to you. It's like, you don't even want to look at yourself in the mirror. Of course your body's taking a hit, right? And so throw love at it. Like if you wouldn't say it to your friend's face because it would hurt their feelings, don't say it to your own, please.
Preach.
I can't tell you how many times me being me, I would bring in a mirror and I'm like, I'm not going to trigger somebody, right? I'm not going to like, it's not immersion therapy here, but like, okay, look at yourself in the mirror, look at yourself in the face. What's the first thing you're thinking of right now? And they won't. And I'm like, I'll put the mirror down. I'm like, what do you want to say? They're like, I think my face is that. I don't know. Right. And I'm like, okay, say it to your face. And they're like, can't do that. A 10 out of 10, every single time, that is what happens. I have not met one person that went, you're an ugly bitch, right in the mirror. Never. Never. So that says something that we all have the same feeling of like, oh, perspective, right? It's just a perspective shift. So like start like is it Mel Robbins? High-fiving yourself in the mirror. I haven't
Oh,
quite
yeah,
done
Tony Robbins. Yeah.
something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
There's a Mel Rock. I don't know what the hell
Yeah.
that is.
She's also cool.
Yeah, she's pretty cool. Blonde with the glasses. So I haven't been doing that, but I've just been looking at in myself in the mirror every day and going, hey, good job. You're doing a really great job. I know that you wouldn't have done this 6 months ago, 10 years ago. And I know there's younger versions of you right now that are having a hard time. But hey, guess what? I'm here for you now. I'm really freaking proud of you. Good job. Let's keep it going. Right. And so bringing along these other hurt versions of you on this journey, because they're calling the shots. I hate to break it to you. If you're like, I don't understand, this happened like 30 years ago. I don't understand why, because you never healed the version of you 30 years ago. Like we gotta talk to that person. We have to help them, because they're still a part of you. They still experience what you've experienced, and they would also like to move on with their life, right? It's all you. And so I always try to be careful with language. Like there's a word you don't like, change it. Webster, like I said, type it in. I don't like this word, I want to use this one instead. Yeah, I mean, there's a million things I could say. There's so many nuggets of wisdom.
We got a lot of gold nuggets.
I got a lot. If you follow me on TikTok, you'll get them all. Okay. That's where I have so much fun on TikTok, but I also just like to just share just the things I've learned through life, and just my little catchphrase is, actually I don't remember what it is right now, but it's aggressive self-love. If you couldn't tell, that's like, freaking love yourself, right?
Yes.
Like, so I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of things I want to share with people. A lot of I'm 30. It's not like I'm here sitting here with 80 years worth of wisdom, but I think I'm an old soul. I think I've learned a lot up till this point, and I have learned that probably one of my biggest takeaways is that my pain is my medicine. And so if you don't understand why you're experiencing something right now, imagine what it would be like on the other side of it, using it in a way that's empowering to you. So my autoimmune disease, no, excuse me, the autoimmune disease that I have is the pain, but now I can help people who also have the same thing or a similar condition try to understand and navigate their body. And it's not a loss. I remember, like, on the full moon on Halloween in 2020, I quit my job. And I remember driving home, collapsing in the yard under the moon, hysterical, like, I get it now. I know, I understand. My pain is my medicine. That's like the message that came through. It was like, no, like, you are going, all this darkness, the things that happened to me when I was a child. I mean, we all have a story, right? I'm sure you probably know where I'm going with that one without even needing to say anything. Like, all of that was not for, it was for some reason, because I've been able to help people navigate that now, and give words to, and let things live outside of your body. Get it out. Even if you're yelling it into your phone, to a therapist, whatever, get it out, because you don't realize how heavy that shit is. So
yeah,
I'll stop there because I could keep going, and we're just yep.
Well, it really has been amazing to hear your heart and your aggressive love for yourself and for other people. And I'm just excited for whatever gold nuggets people got from this whole entire conversation. I know that there was a lot that I will take away from this, like left to ponder and also be inspired. And for anybody in our audience, if you guys want to connect with Jess, you can get her information from us. You can reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook at Thrive Fully Alive, or email us at thrivefullyalive@gmail.com, and we will send you her info. She's definitely worth a follow on TikTok or Instagram or wherever you find her. Yes, yeah. Because your value that you have to share is amazing. And Jess, I say that to you. I say that to you, Gabe. I say that to myself, looking at myself in the Zoom mirror right now, but also to every single one of you in the audience. You have so much value to give. And I really hope that you got that from today's conversation. Like, we are all here experiencing this life, and everything is a lesson or an opportunity to receive some sort of blessing. So anyway, okay, this sign off got really long. I am very grateful for this conversation today, and I'm excited to see you all next week.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah,
Thank you,
bye.
Jessica.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to So What Makes You Come Alive. We're so inspired by the conversations we get to have with everyday humans about what lights them up and how to love the story they're living. We hope that you feel just as inspired too.
Interested in getting in on the inspiration? Click the link in our Instagram bio @ThriveFullyAlive and select the option for The One About You, be our guest. Remember to tune in each week for a new episode where we explore what it looks like to get back to living our best story, where we hope that your favorite story becomes your own.